Hiya, babes, and welcome back to the podcast. The prodigal queen has returned, baby. What the fuck? That sounded like the foghorn to a fucking ship. Did you hear that? I'm back again, bitch. I'm just gonna start being extra aggressive every time I come back from a hiatus. I'll be more and more progressively angry. Welcome back to the podcast. It's been a second. I took a break. I take breaks a lot. If you haven't learned that, you must be new here. If you didn't know, Mama comes back strong for a couple months, takes a month off, comes back bigger, better, stronger than ever. Outside is so rude right now. Any bitch, we're here. We're live. Well, we're not live, but we're doing the podcast. I have a thing to talk about. Number one, I want to talk about it right off rip. I've been watching a lot of She-Hulk. It's been on for almost 2 months now. Yes, She-Hulk episode 7 just came out today. I literally watched it right before I recorded this. And I have thoughts about the show. I will not say that it is bad. I feel like that is most people's reaction of the show. It's bad. And then they get defensive because they don't want to be accused of being misogynistic. And I will say, She-Hulk starts off a little rough. And it's not the fact that she twerks and that's so dumb. Not our precious Marvel films being dumb. Okay. It's the fact that, like, I've talked about this before on the podcast. Marvel humor is like something, it's hit or miss, right? Like, it's always, every time, it's always hit or miss. Sometimes there's really good jokes and sometimes there's fucking horrific jokes. But the problem with She-Hulk is that it is mainly a comedy. So it's like 90% jokes and then you get a fight scene like every once in a while. And like even the drama is like played very comedically. It's not a very serious show. It's not trying to be a very serious show, which I have no issue with. The problem is the writers at Marvel are not super funny all the time. What you will get is like a solid joke and then like 4 minutes of the joke lasting way too fucking long. And it's weird, man, because it is fun. I feel like the second half of the show that's happening now is a lot more fun than the first half was. And the first half was setting up a lot of the stuff. And I feel like the show was hurting a little bit because of it. But it's fun now. Like, they just had 2 episodes that, like, were kind of bottle episodes in a way. Like, they still had some, like, little bit of plot, but they were mainly just their own little stories, and I actually kind of appreciate that. Some of my favorite episodes of television are bottle episodes. The bottle episodes from my favorite show, Warrior, best episodes of each season, by far. And so yeah, I think the second half is a lot more fun now. They've kind of found their footing. My biggest complaint about the show, and this goes beyond She-Hulk. This is a Marvel problem. Is Marvel loves making us wait for shit and then not delivering exactly what they promised you would be waiting for. And what I mean by that, and I'm sure some of you are already ahead of me, you can already glean what I mean by that, is I have been waiting 7 weeks to see my boy, my son, My sweet cheese, my rotten soldier, my good time boy. Matthew Murdock. Murdock. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been fucking Daredevil, man. I've been waiting so long to see him. And then the trailer, he's like the last thing they show you. They're like, yeah, he's going to hang out. Because if you didn't know, they're both lawyers. If you haven't heard. So yeah, they're both lawyers, and they're going to pal around and do superhero stuff together. And it's been 7 weeks and nothing. The most we got was a little teaser right at the end of one of the episodes. We see his helmet in a little box. And there's only 2 episodes left, which I gotta say too, I didn't know at first, because the last few Marvel shows have had 6 episodes. I think WandaVision had 9, but the rest of them I think have 6. So when I went to watch episode 6, and not only was Daredevil not in it, but it was a bottle episode about a wedding. And I thought, for a second, that was the season finale. I don't think I've ever been fucking angrier in my life. I was so mad and so upset. I remember I was watching it with Bishop, and the fucking She-Hulk post, like, the credits thing came up. And I just, like, was staring in awe. I was like, they just fucking ended the season with a nothing episode. And I couldn't believe my eyes, ears, and nose. But I was wrong. There's 9 episodes. I looked into it. There is 2 more left. So we still have, which also only means about an hour's worth of content, because each She-Hulk episode's about 30 minutes, which is so disrespectful for no fucking reason. They did not care about the show. I'm going to be honest. It doesn't feel like they care about this show, but I do. I'm having fun. It's a good thing I get to watch every week. There's problems with it. There's problems with every Marvel thing, baby. That's just the way they crumble cookies. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully he'll come in this 8th episode and then hang out for the rest of the last episode. If they do what I think they might do, which is end the show with the scene of him that we've already seen in the trailer, and that's all we get of Daredevil is like a stinger for his show, I will burn my television. Just burn it alive with Disney Plus loaded up. You can't do that to me. You can't. It's illegal. You can't do it. Also, speaking of shows I've been watching, I've also been watching House of the Dragon. And House of the Dragon is having the reverse problem, I think, of Game of Thrones. I mean, what the fuck did I just say? I meant to say the reverse problem of She-Hulk. House of the Dragon is Game of Thrones. Not the... You know what I fucking mean. Don't... Shut up. Don't fucking look at me like that. Yeah. It's having the fucking opposite problem, which is that the show starts off banging. It's great. It's fucking going nutso mode. It's going sicko mode. And it's really fucking entertaining. It's really cool. There was one episode, and it's like a fucking... It's Game of Thrones shit. It's like a wedding party, which we all know weddings in Game of Thrones. I won't spoil, but they're events for sure. Fuck me. But it's like a wedding party. And the whole fucking, it's like 40 minutes of the hour-long episode is just this wedding party. And it's just everyone walking around being shady to each other and like trying to put forth their own agendas, and it's fucking awesome. It's like watching a chess match, dude. That's what I love. That's what Game of Thrones fans love. You know, we get a little bit more unnatural action in this show because there's dragons and shit. It's not like old Game of Thrones where, oh, we had to build up to the dragons because people hadn't seen dragons in 100 years or whatever. Dragons are pretty fucking normal in this show because it took place 200 years before the original. So people are like, yeah, dragons be flying around and shit. It's fine. But still, like, a lot of it is that early Game of Thrones vibe. Like, just people walking around, being shady, getting their own agendas met and their own, everyone has their own intentions. It's fucking good, man. But the last 2 episodes, I'm not going to lie, I was a little distracted. They were kind of boring. Like, there was good parts. I'm not going to say they were bad episodes, but it was definitely a little more like, okay, guys, like, let's fucking move the plot a little bit, you know? Like, I genuinely feel like I'll light spoilers. I'll try and keep spoilers free, you know? But in the last episode, the one that just aired this past Sunday, they time skip like fucking 20 years or some shit. Or 10 years, I think it's 10 years. So there's like new actors playing some of the characters, the younger ones, because they're adults now. And yeah, it just like, it really felt like, because there are good episodes, like I said, the chess match one, the wedding one. That's an episode where like there's a fight. But like, and it's barely a fight. Like, a dude beats the shit out of someone. But, like, it's not very action-packed. But it's gripping and engaging because it's just these people. There's chess pieces being moved around the board, you know? There's a lot of moving parts. And it's so interesting to see what everyone wants and how they plan on going about getting it and all of that. But then you get an episode like this last one where it is a lot of dialogue still. It is just people walking around a room talking, but it's fucking boring. It's unengaging because I don't care about any of what they're doing. You know, like, this plot line currently is like the most petty shit. And yes, people in Game of Thrones are petty as fuck. They kill each other for stupid stuff all of the time. All of the time. But it's like, it's not even fun to watch, man. So, I don't know. I hope the show picks back up. I said that right the first time, I think. Because I enjoy it. It's fucking great. And it's nice to have, like, another go at Game of Thrones. I'm a little worried because we're in this era now. I don't think people realize how much Marvel and Disney included in that have changed the way, like, pop culture media works. What I mean by that is, like, if you look at Disney Plus and you really think about it, it has the stranglehold on some of the biggest media brands in the world right now. And one of the things that they're doing, obviously, with Marvel and with Star Wars mainly, is they're still actively making the big blockbuster films, but they're also doing these spin-off shows, more so with Star Wars than with Marvel, because a lot of the shows in Marvel still tie into the overall MCU, you know? But like Star Wars, for instance, we had The Mandalorian come out a while ago. Everyone really loved that. And now there's like Andor and Obi-Wan, like shows no one really needed about characters that, like, and to be fair, if you like it, love what you love, I'm a fucking Kingdom Hearts fan, for Christ's sake. Like, I don't listen to me about anything. You can like whatever the fuck you want, and it's completely valid. And also, B, I am not the biggest Star Wars fan. I know, go to your local library, write a letter, sue me about it. I've never been huge on Star Wars. It's just me. I don't know what it is. I think it's cool. I think lightsabers are cool. But I've just never really got super into it. I'm definitely a little more medieval fantasy than space wizards, I guess. Space just doesn't really interest me that much. Same thing with horror. I've never really been into sci-fi all that much, with the few exceptions. But it's just never been for me. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But people I know who do love Star Wars have even said that the Obi-Wan show was just kind of whatever. There was a lot of silly stuff about it, and like it was just sort of a like, we didn't really need this, but I guess I'll watch it. And they're fucking counting on that, I feel like, because they know that like with those shows, they don't have to get too creative and crazy, because if they fuck something up, it's like, well, whatever. That's not that important anyway, because we already know what happens. So, rather than like writing a new story and risking putting forth shit people don't like that permanently affects your universe, because everything's a fucking shared universe now, and then now we're getting that with other shit, with other media, like Game of Thrones. There's this House of the Dragon show, and now they're planning other spin-offs as well. They're going to do a Jon Snow one, which I'm like, why? Listen. I know everyone loves Jon Snow. I like Jon Snow. He knows nothing or whatever, I've seen Game of Thrones. No, Jon's great, but my whole thing, and maybe I didn't read the books, so I'm a Game of Thrones TV only person. So maybe there's some shit in the books that I don't know about. But the show is supposed to be about Jon going back to be commander of the Night's Watch. Because that's how, spoilers for original Game of Thrones, that's how the show ends. He fucking dices Daenerys, and then they sentence him to go back to the Night's Watch. And my thing is that I don't think, like, why does the Night's Watch still exist? Do you know what I mean? And again, maybe there's some stuff I don't know. But if both the wildlings are cool with everybody now, and there's no more Night Army, there's no more White Walkers because they killed the Night King, what the fuck is the Night's Watch there for? What do they do? So what's the show about? Do you know what I mean? Are they going to just create a new fucking villain? Like, oh, there's these fucking penguins with guns. Like, they're crazy. North of the wall, there's penguins with shotguns. Jonathan Snowley, my lord, you've got to help us. It just feels like a weird excuse to get a character people like back on TV. And it's what it is. Let's be real. Or what, are they going to fucking just fight the wildlings again? Like, everyone's just like, oh, okay, well, back to business. I don't know, man. It's just silly. And then there was rumors of another Game of Thrones spinoff. I think it was about Arya. I don't know. It's just a lot. There's a lot of fucking media right now, and it's really crazy. Like, dude, I remember being in elementary school and like getting made fun of for playing with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or like playing fucking video games that weren't like Madden. And now being a fucking nerd is like the hypest shit you can do. And it's like, that is pop culture, is nerd shit now. The fuck, man? Where'd that come from? Avengers is what? It's their fault. And yeah, there's just so much fucking shit. Dude, oh my god, I gotta talk about this, because boy, have I never had such a 180 on something. And not in the way you would think. So, HBO, again, they're fucking, with their Game of Thrones shit, they're starting their own little spin-off universe. they released the first official trailer for the Last of Us TV series. And I have a really weird, interesting relationship with the idea of a Last of Us TV series, right? Because here's my thing. On one hand, I think The Last of Us, the whole thing, all of it, is one of the most beautiful stories and through lines in media. It's so amazing and it's so well told. The music they used to tell it, the acting, the dialogue, everything about it is beautiful. Even the game looks beautiful. And so on one hand, I'm of this mindset that like, well, why are we getting a TV show? The game already exists, and the game's so well made. People should just play the game. And I'm sad that the game's not getting all the love it could get. But on the other hand, I know that there are some people who don't play video games and would never play a video game, especially a game like The Last of Us where there are horror elements and it's stressful as fuck sometimes when you're sneaking through a room full of clickers. That's just stressful, baby. You hear that noise? You hear the clicker noise out of nowhere down a hallway? Shooketh. And so, on the other hand, I'm like, if bringing it to television is the only way we can get this story to those people, of course I want to do that. Because I think everyone should experience this story. It's fucking gorgeous. So I was kind of mixed on the idea when they announced it. And then the casting stuff, too, was kind of weird. At first, when they cast Pedro Pascal, I was like, really? Like, it's fucking Oberyn Martell? Like, that's the guy? It's like, you know, like the fucking, you know, the fucking, he's like a fucking, God, dude, I can't speak. I was like, it just seemed so weird. Like, it was such an interesting casting choice. And then, on top of that, too, I'd heard the way it was phrased online was, oh, the girl from Game of Thrones is going to play Ellie. So, of course, my immediate thought was Arya. So I thought she was Ellie, and I was like, oh, is it because she's like a badass in the show? And I was like, that doesn't really... I just look at her, and I'm like, she doesn't fit Ellie. You know? She's like... I don't know. She's tough in a different way, I guess. Like, the show kind of turned her into, like... almost like a numb character. Like, she just knows murder and revenge. That's it. She doesn't know how to be a fucking person. So I didn't really see that for Ellie. And also, she's a lot fucking older now. I know she still looks young, but she's supposed to play like a 14-year-old. That's weird. But then I realized when the fucking teaser came out, because when House of the Dragon came out, they did a big teaser of like a bunch of new upcoming shit. First of all, season 3 of Warrior. Let's fucking go, baby. Sorry I had to get that out there. You have no fucking idea how excited I got when they were showing all the new stuff coming to HBO next year and fucking Warrior season 3 was on there. I almost nutted out of my eyes. Any fucking way. I gotta stop. But yeah. It's the little girl who runs House Mormont, fucking Bear Island, dude. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And I think sometimes with these video game adaptations, we get too hung up on the characters looking exactly, facial structure and all, exactly like the made-up video game characters from a fake video game. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's not even what the voice actors look like. Those characters aren't real. So sometimes we're like, they don't even fucking look like them. It's like, what's... So? Are they dressed and relatively similar? Then cool. You know? I will say I feel like I had a really good casting for Joel. I wanted Dylan McDermott to play Joel. Look at a picture of Dylan McDermott with a beard and fucking tell me that that isn't the same guy. I know I just said the video game characters don't exist. That's the one exception, because yes, he does. But we got Pedro Pascal. I try and reserve judgment the best of my abilities. I'm a human being. So I was a little like, okay, we'll see how he does. And then they released that first little trailer, the first little one. And he's looking at Ellie and he says the line, "You have no idea what loss is." Dude. That's king shit right there. All of my preconceived stuff, all of the things I thought, oh, he's fucking, I don't know, out the window. You have no idea what loss is. You're right, I don't, Joel. Tell me about it. Tell me what loss is. Loss would be not having you, Pedro, in this show, baby. But you're here, King. You're here to take us through. Grab this hand. Take me through the story, baby. So that was the first little, they give you a little taste. They give you the little free sample bag to bring you back for more. And then just recently, they released the minute and a half long trailer. And while I was a little sad that the main fucking theme, you know, the one, that one, it was swapped out with a different song, but, you know, they're going for the same vibe. And the first couple shots, I was like, okay, this looks pretty standard, you know. They're showing, like, the quarantine zone that Joel and Tess are in at the beginning of the game. And then you see it. You see that shot of the two big buildings where one has collapsed over onto the other one. And they fucking got me, dude. I was sold right there. I couldn't believe my eyes. It looks so fucking gorgeous. Oh my God. I was freaking out, dude. It looks so good. And then they continue to keep showing cool stuff. And I feel like they did what not a lot of trailers do, which is these days. First of all, it's only like a minute and a half. I honestly hope this is the only trailer we get till the show comes out. Because we are in an age where there are trailers for trailers now. And then you get a final trailer. And it's like 4.5 minutes long. And it's like, dude, just show me the movie then. But I really feel like they left things like pretty open-ended. Like, here's some stuff you love. Here's your fan service. Here's some new stuff we might do. Who knows? Guess you'll find out next year. So, yeah, it was, oh my God, it was great. There's a scene of him running with his kid from the opening game. There's the shot where he's holding her face after what happens with David. If you haven't played the original game, I won't spoil it for you, but there's a really, really intense section where you play as Ellie. And the undertones of this segment and the way it ends it's very heavy and it's very real. It's a very raw moment. And it really looks like they care about this show. And if you're going to make these types of adaptations, that is all I can ask for. So I'm very excited to see it. And I cannot wait. And yeah, man, fucking hell. You know what else I want to talk about before we wrap up here today, children? I had an interesting wrestling experience. So I had my first strap match. That's right. I had a strap match, which for those of you who don't know, is a match where you are handcuffed to your opponent with a very long rope. And there's no rules. You just wrestle that way with a strap. And It was fucking nuts. You know? It's on YouTube. I'll link it in the description if you want to go watch it. But yeah, it was really fun. It was with my good pal Amira. Shout out Amira. It was really cool, man. It was very cool, different experience. I love getting to work her. She's a phenomenal fucking worker. Book Amira. And yeah, it's always fun getting that new experience, the new type of match, especially like a strap match. That's so strange. You're not going to get that opportunity a lot. And the place it was at was very interesting. It was at the Folsom Street Fair, which is a very, very large kink sex fair that I'd never heard of because I'm not very smart. But it is way bigger than I ever fucking knew of, let me tell you. When they asked me to do it, I was like, yeah, sure, that'll be fun. I've done like little festival shows and stuff. Like, that'll be chill. It shit's nuts, dude. It's so big. It's like there's like famous people there and shit. And it was really fun. It was really cool to just like be in a space where like, it's a lot of other queer folk, and like it's always hard to work those crowds that aren't necessarily, because they're not wrestling fans. I mean, I'm sure some of them are, but like that's not why they're at the fair. You know what I mean? You are just one of the events the fair is like including. So really, a lot of your main crowd is people walking by and then seeing two people fighting in a ring and going, "Oh shit, what's this?" Okay, I was trying a new filming method and the fucking camera died, so I'm just gonna do the outro here on my phone because I'm here already. We're already at the end. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. I really appreciate you listening. Yeah, make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you go check out my other channels as well. I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And most importantly, thanks for stopping by.